I hate to do this to you guys, but I have another really quick slideshow here where it's getting kind of late, so I'm going to kind of zip through this thing pretty quickly. This is on side grafting, black pines, red pines, and junipers. One of the reasons why we do this kind of grafting is sometimes you get a tree that has that's way grown out, and you want to bring the foliage and ramification back in closer to the trunk. So you would side graft back onto the branches to accomplish that. Another reason we would want to side graft is sometimes you have junipers, like some of the collected junipers have really coarse, leggy kind of growth on them. And you just get tired of fighting that battle, so you can graft shimpaku foliage onto this, and it gives you a much nicer looking tree. When do we side graft? In our area, right now, we're getting kind of to the end of the window for side grafting. You need to do it before or just as the candles begin to push for the pines, and for junipers before or just as the new growth begins to push. And looking at my pines, they're really growing right now. So scenario number one for reconstructing branches, the conditions for success of this type. Our example is a Japanese black pine. Tree must be healthy. The scions must be from the parent plant. You need the same exact genetic material when you're doing this. You want to plan ahead and start developing scions for next year. So if you're planning on grafting, you want to, you don't want to decandle the material that you think you might need to use for a scion. You just don't decandle that year. Shoots, you use shoots that are 1 to 2 years old, vigorous but not too vigorous, diameter 3 to 4 millimeters, and you can prepare. I'm going to just annotate this real quick. This is, whoops, yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. This is the this little side branch right here. This is what I'm going to use for my scion. I did not decandle it. I already pulled the needles on it to kind of prep it for side grafting. So it's kind of ready to go right now. There drawings. Same thing for scenario number two, conditions for success when you're replacing juniper foliage. You want both trees, the parent and the donor tree, to be nice and healthy. If you want all scions that you're going to use to replace foliage to be from the same donor plant. So if annotate, if you're going to do several years worth of grafting, because I know the juniper grafting is a little more difficult than pines. I have a much lower success rate on my juniper grafting. So you might you want to keep this plant around. So each year that you want to add grafts to this plant, you want to use the same donor plant. So you need to keep it healthy and growing. Start developing scions now for next year. You want that nice, strong, these nice, strong growing tips. This is what you want for your scions. You want it vigorous and 3 to 4 diameters in millimeter, a millimeter in diameter, excuse me. I'm trying to hurry here. Okay. This is just understanding the cambium of a woody branch. Carmen already explained that a little bit, but it's really important when you're doing side grafting because you're actually cutting the scion off of a plant. There's nothing to give that little piece of foliage nutrition unless you get the cambium or the cambial layer matched with the cambial layer of the scion matched with the cambial layer of the parent tree. So the cambium is on the outside. It's a small layer of cells that divides. When it differentiates to the inside, it becomes xylem. When it differentiates to the outside, it becomes phloem. So that is the cambial layer. This is the area that you need to get matched up with the scion. So I took a juniper and a pine scion just to kind of give you guys an example to show on the pine. This is the pine. This green area around the edge here, this is the cambial layer. You can see how much thicker on the pine it is than on the juniper. This is the pine. The juniper, you can hardly even see it around the edge. That's what makes junipers a little more difficult to do side grafting. Anyway, the point that I want to make here is that when you're lining up the scion, only one side of the scion is going to line up with the insertion cut on the parent tree. So this is the, oops, why am I not getting my, oh, there it is. On this one, you can see the scion is lined up on this side with the parent tree. On this one, this is the opposite side. You can see there's a gap here. So just to show that only one side is lined up. On this one, I just wanted to show the difference in diameter between the parent branch and the scion. So just getting prepared, you want to make sure that you have all of your tools and materials organized. You want a sharpening stone, raffia, Sharpie. I'm using the parafilm technique for wrapping my scions. There's various methods for doing that. I have found that this works best for me, so that's what I'm sharing with you, but there are other methods. You want a smooth, hard surface for cutting the scion on, scissors, tape, and strong glasses if you need them like me, because my eyesight's so bad anymore. And then you want to assemble all your tools and materials and trees in a well-lighted area. Get prepared, continue. First of all, choose the site on the tree where you want to place the scion, where you want to make your cuts, and mark it with a Sharpie pen. Let's see. Then you choose the scion material. So everything, you have everything in your mind, exactly how it's going to work. So before you even start. Okay, this is the black pine scion. We cut the scion off the tree, reduce the needle mass to like 8 to 10 needle pairs. Then we take it's about a 3/4 inch wide section of parafilm to wrap the scion in, starting at the base. Want to start here at the base and then wrap upward so that the needle mass is, oops, covered with the parafilm. I'll show you when I do the live demo that you have to stretch the parafilm. The beauty of it is that you can stretch it really thin, wrap it, and it makes a little cocoon. And then as the scion grows, it actually just kind of pushes its way out. So you really don't have to, and once it's set, you don't really have to do anything. Then for cutting the scion, for making the cuts, for the insertion cuts, you want a long, one side to be long and then the other side to be short. Come on. Okay, inserting and finishing the graft. So the insertion cut about a 30-degree angle into the branch. You want the length of this cut to be the length of the long cut on the scion so that they match up almost exactly. So look at your scion, see how long that long cut is. That's how long you have to make the insertion cut. Insert the scion, long side toward the branch, short side up toward the flap of the cut. Then wrap it with wet raffia and finish it by wrapping parafilm, covering the raffia, the cut area, and any part of the scion that is exposed with parafilm. Aftercare, you want to protect the graft from full sun. If looking at it, you can tell that the graft is taking, it'll stay green. You'll see condensation appearing inside the parafilm. Sometimes you'll see the candle growing and it looks like it might be having trouble pushing its way out. You can take a little sharp object and make a hole so that the candle can push its way out of the parafilm. If it's successful, don't disturb it for 2 years. Give it a really good chance to fuse well before you try and wire it or do anything to it. This is pine. This is what it will look like next year if it is successful. This is the insertion. This is a graph that I did last year. This is the insertion area. You can see where it's fused. It still isn't really, well fused, so we just leave it alone for another year. On this side, these three that have the zip ties on them, these are 3 from last year. I put the zip tie on just to stabilize that graft area in case a bird lands on it or the wind blows really hard. Something like that might disturb the graft area. So just to make sure, but you got to watch it to make sure that it doesn't swell or anything in those areas. These are 2-year scions. These were done 2 years ago. I'm still going to leave these for another year before I do anything with them. Next year for the juniper, on this one you can see the tips of the juniper foliage are starting to push out through the parafilm. That's the beauty of parafilm. You just leave it alone and let it grow. I also put a zip tie on this to stabilize it. And so that concludes the slideshow portion. Now we're going to go to a live demo so I can kind of go through this again and some of the finer details with you. So here we have our black pine that we're going to do a side graft on. So anyway, this is going to be my scion. And then we come up here to the top of the tree. I've chosen the spot where I'm going to put my graft. I'm going to put my graft right in this area. So I've already marked it with a Sharpie. So we're going to, I can't do it with this on, can I? Oops. We're going to cut this off. We'll cut, I'm trying to hurry. Take your time. Cut off the scion. So there's our scion. Already has like 8 needle pairs. So on this guy, we have a piece of parafilm. Got that? About 3/4 of an inch wide. Oops. Off there. Parafilm is it's a laboratory product. You can get it on the internet. All it is just a sheet form of paraffin. The beauty of it is, I will show you here, you could stretch it, and it stretches very thin. If you very carefully, don't jerk it or anything, but just carefully stretch it out, it gets really, really thin. So it makes a really nice wrap around the scion, and whoops, see, that happens sometimes too. Oh well. There's some flaws, whoops, flaws in it. Dang. Probably old. Probably very old. Anyway. There, we got that. Okay. Start wrapping at the base. This is almost beyond the point where it is a good, it's just grown to, we're a little bit late this year. Everything budded out early. So it's a little bit mature. So you start at the base, wrap, whoops, get this started.
You said it grew.
Yeah,
a
it's
quarter of an inch in the last week.
yes, it just, man, it started growing. It's like it's almost two grown. But you overlap the parafilm like about maybe 1/8 of an inch. I'm not doing this very good.
That's okay.
There we go. That's getting better. Yeah, we're getting better. It's getting it started sometimes. It's the hard part. And I have another, I'm just going to use this piece to finish it off with. And so it's nicely wrapped up. It has a little cocoon. It's all sealed, keep all the moisture in. So now I look at this and it's like, how am I going to put this on the branch? It kind of curves up this way. So I'm going to want to make my long cut on the bottom. So it will fit in like this. So I'm going to take this and do my long cut on the bottom. My glasses here. Excuse me. So when you're making your cut, you want to have the, a really nice sharp grafting knife. You want to keep the knife blade parallel to the cutting surface. And you want to make one nice smooth cut. You don't want to saw or disturb it at all. You want to make one nice smooth cut like that. The reason for that is any little damage to the cambial layer will decrease your chances for success. So that's a very important part of it. So now that's the long side. I'm going to turn it over, do the short side, same thing, knife blade parallel, one nice smooth cut. So we have long side, we have short side. I'll keep it in my mouth. You'll keep it in your mouth? Sure. My assistants are wonderful here. So, you know what? I need this to be a little bit lower. I wasn't thinking of that.
No fault.
I need to be lower or I need to be higher. Oh, well, we'll do it this way. Okay. So this is my mark at a 30-degree angle. And having a mask on and trying to wear glasses is just problematic here. So we're going to make it the insertion cut. Is that long enough? No. Not long enough? No. A little bit more? That's good. Okay. So then, lining up the cambial layers, you want to insert the Scion all the way into the base of that cut, lining up the outside edge. Bend it for a bit. Oops. We're having technical difficulties here.
It looks pretty good.
Does that look pretty good?
It's fairly solid looking. Yeah, you got it there.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, I get it closer.
So then, once that's inserted, we're going to tie it off with parafilm.
Nope, raffia.
I mean raffia. Excuse me. Raffia. Yes, keep me on. Guys. Keep me going here, guys. So we just wrap it. Excuse me. Raffia. I like to wrap the whole insertion area with raffia.
Oops. Okay, that should be good enough. Tie it off. Okay. Trim it. And wrap it with paraffin. Just gonna wrap this area. Covering it all. Looks like it, huh? Yep. Looks like it's all covered. All right. And then to seal this little area at the very base here, put in a little daub of cut paste. And that's it. Now you just leave it alone and let it grow. What time is it getting to be? Time for our next tree.
Time for our next tree.
I'll get it ready.
This is assembly line grafting we got going here. So next tree is going to be California Juniper. I've chosen the grafting side on this. I'm going to put one here. Actually, I'm going to do about 3 or 4 more on this, but I'm just going to do one tonight. I'm going to try one right in here. I choose the site. It's nice and smooth, no scar tissue or anything. So that's where I'm going to place the graft. I'll show the old one. Oh, last year's. Where is it?
There's 3 of them.
So, oops. So these are some that I did last year. I think I tried 7 last year and 3 of them took. So not a real good percentage, but hopefully I'll get better as time goes on.
Down there. Okay.
Okay. So that's the grafting site. I'm going to choose my piece of grafting material, good strong shoot here. So I'm just going to cut this off down in here someplace. Looking at this, I'm looking for a couple of really nice, strong lateral pieces of foliage that I can use for my Scion. Looking in this area, let's see, that one, maybe those 3. Maybe I'll use those 3. So I'm going to, all the excess ones, the ones that are down here below, I'm going to cut these guys off. So I think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Go up one more. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to take these 3 little guys. They're going to be my Scion, and then I'm going to take off the tip here. Don't want it too strong. Now we need parafilm to wrap. Same thing as with the pine. We start at the base of the foliage and wrap up and overlapping. Oh, I don't know. About 1/3, I guess, of the width. So that little cocoon completely.
You don't pull it real tight.
You do not pull it real tight. No, it does not. You don't really want it too tight. Got to give those, you know, the little tips in there room to grow. You don't want to squish it down too much. So there, I'm ready. We're going to make the cut. Let's see. I want to put it here. So, whoops, wow.
I might have to do that at a little bit of an angle. Oops. Either that or take that one off. I'm going to take that off. It's going to get in my way. So I'm going to put this in here. Is there a good way to put this? No, it doesn't really, probably there. That's probably where I want it. A little bit of a curve, there. So we're going to put the long side on this side. Blade parallel, one nice smooth cut. Flip it over. Smooth cut. Long side, short side. Assistant, put it in your mouth. Okay, so now we're going to go in here and make our insertion cut. Oh dear. I think I cut that. I had too much of an angle there. I'm going to go right through the branch. I'm going to have to pick another place. I was going to put one up there anyway. Yeah, the reason I'm not going to do it there now is because I made the cut a little bit too deep. It's kind of a thin branch and I almost went through the branch. So I'm not going to do that. We're going to come back over here and choose one of these other ones where I was going to put a graft. So let's put it right in here. That looks like a good spot. Kind of a thin branch, but we're not going to go as deep on this one.
So a little bit farther.
There, good. Okay. So lining up the outside here. Does that look like it's good?
Yeah, that's pretty firm.
Okay. Now we're going to tie this off. Being careful not to bump it. It's hard to do. See, this is a little bit too high. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing here.
Yeah. You kind of hand it to me and I'll pull it through.
I think I can get it with this time.
Okay.
This works good.
It's a nice piece of raffia.
It's a good piece of raffia. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being such a nice piece of raffia.
Sometimes they shred and fall apart, so.
Okay, tie it up. Okay. Scissors. Raffia. Oh, you're right. Having assistance is really nice. It's wonderful, yes. So now we're going to cover the area with the raffia. Whoops. See, that's what happens. Dang it. I kind of got it messed up here. Oh well. To get it back out to the.
I'm surprised Kitty isn't here because this was something she said she'd been looking forward to seeing.
Who's this?
Oh, that's a kitty. Kitty's not here.
Yeah.
Kitty's always here.
Yeah,
Where's Kitty?
it's being recorded, so it will be on the website in a few days.
So here, now I have a little bit of exposed Scion here, so I'm going to wrap this around. Oops, I know, careful. I'm not being careful.
Do it from the back and then go over it that way. Okay.
Folding it. Oh, thank
Uh-huh.
you, thank you. Yes, that helps a lot. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay.
One more time.
One more time. Thank you. Oops. Oops, it's hung up on that. Hmm,
I think you're there. You're
I think
good.
they're there.
Yeah.
Pull. I'm going to come back down here to pull it. Come right back down here so I don't pull on the Scion there. Okay. Okay, so it's wrapped. We're going to put a little dab of cut paste to seal the hole. And now we just wait and watch. And hopefully it takes.
The other tree.
So that's kind of it. I have one more thing to share. This was a little California juniper that I won at the Modesto show. It was a demo that Sam Medina did, but it was a California juniper that looked a lot like the one I was just working on. It had really lanky foliage, and I worked with it for several years, and I just couldn't get it to compact it all. So I started grafting this one, and between Peter and I, we got a lot of the grafts to take. I did, where's our white piece of paper?
Oh, okay.
I did, I saved this one. Yeah, I saved this one just as an example of what happens if the graft hasn't fused really well and you try to wire it. You can lose things. So it's really good idea to make sure that these grafts have fused really well. That's one of the reasons why I like to put a little piece of a zip tie on it sometimes too. Even when I'm working on it, I'll just leave that zip tie on there to make sure that the fusion area is very secure. So that's it. Any questions? I know what the question's going to be. Is it over yet?
You guys did an amazing job.
So, if you guys have any questions, we've recorded this. We're gonna put it on the website. So
Yeah, the question is, are you for hire?
Our Zoom team is not, but boy, I appreciate all the work that went into this. We've had multiple practice sessions and a lot of help.
yeah,
And I wanted to thank Paul for editing my videos, which would have been agonizing if they had not been cut for
Yeah.
time. So, and Dodie and our camera person and lighting person, and went back and forth between everything. It's been quite the process.
yeah, it's been a journey, but it's been fun. We've learned a lot.
And I
yes.
hope you enjoyed it.